All right, for more on where Hurricane Ernesto is heading next, I want to bring in Dr. Michael Brennan. He is the director of NOAA's National Hurricane Center in Miami, Florida. Michael, thank you so much for being with us today. We have heard how Hurricane Ernesto affected Puerto Rico, but can you tell us where it's moving next?
Yeah, you can see the center of Ernesto now is more than a couple hundred miles off to the northwest of Puerto Rico, but you're still getting some heavy rains. There's still flash flood warnings in effect for portions of the island, so the impacts are not quite done there yet, but eyes are now turning more towards Bermuda for direct impacts. We're expecting Ernesto to move northward and then northeastward across the western Atlantic and move near or over Bermuda. By the time we get from late Friday into early Saturday, we could see tropical storm conditions beginning there Friday or Friday evening, with hurricane conditions possible on Saturday. The other big story for Ernesto is going to be the surf and rip current danger that it creates for essentially the entire U.S. East Coast. That's going to spread from Florida up through the southeast and into the mid-Atlantic and northeast states as we go from Friday into Saturday and Sunday. So we could see dangerous beach conditions across the entire U.S. East Coast for this upcoming weekend.
And Michael, as Ernesto makes its way on its path, will it continue to gain strength?
Yeah, we're expecting Ernesto to continue at least strengthening gradually over the next couple days. We're forecasting it to reach at or near major hurricane intensity. That's a Category 3 storm by the time we get into Friday, and still be a pretty powerful hurricane as we move from Friday into Saturday, and then continue to be a hurricane all the way out through our 5-day forecast period, maybe moving near Nova Scotia by the time we get into early next week as a hurricane.
Yeah, I know the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration predicted an above normal number of storms this season. Yeah. What factors went into that forecast?
Well, there's sort of two large-scale factors that we're looking at that are going to likely make this a very busy hurricane season. The first is we have warm to near record warm ocean temperatures across much of the Atlantic basin, and that those warm waters are essentially serve as the fuel for developing tropical storms and hurricanes. The second piece is the development of La Nina across the eastern Pacific, which is expected to come into play here in the next couple of months, and that creates favorable conditions in the atmosphere for storms to form across the Atlantic basin and will allow disturbances and developing systems to go ahead and take advantage of those very warm ocean temperatures.
Michael, before I let you go, what's your biggest concern about Ernesto right now, and what should people be looking out for?
Well, if you live in Bermuda, and Bermuda is no stranger to impacts from tropical storms and hurricanes, we're likely to see a hurricane watch issued for Bermuda as soon as later this afternoon. So the folks there are going to want to look at their hurricane plan, make sure they have supplies. The thing to note about Ernesto is it's going to slow down as it moves near Bermuda, so they could have a prolonged period of impacts there. The other big impact for the U.S. East Coast is going to be the dangerous surf and rip current conditions. It could be a really nice day to otherwise be at the beach, but we lose a lot of people every year to dangerous ocean conditions from distant hurricanes that can be far off the East Coast and create dangerous surf conditions. So people want to follow any advice they're given by their lifeguards, look at any warning flags, and don't go in the ocean if they don't think it's safe.
All right, Michael, thank you so much for your insights. Really appreciate it.
Thanks.